Hello, hello, all of you pixie sprites and other fair fae folk. This is the Hobby Hobbit, and today I am doing my inaugural coloring video to show you guys how to do a little bit of shading and coloring. I'm using these pencils right here. They are from Amazon. They are the Cool Banks brand. Even though it says premium here, they are Cool Banks. This color here is going to be I think it's C33. The next color I'm going to choose is C15. And then finally, I'm going to choose C16. So these are the colors I'm going to do, and we're going to start working on this little bit right up here. So I just generally, I'll throw my really light, and you'll notice like I color and I hold my pencil further back so that I have a lighter touch. Especially with these pencils, I find that if you put too many layers on them, they tend to get a little streaky, but I like to use them as my practice set when I don't feel like breaking out my better brands like Castle Arts, Prismacolor, Artisas, those kind of things. So all I'm doing here is just laying down this color very lightly. You can tell from like the way I'm holding my hand, there's not a lot of pressure on there. And honestly, I can't do a lot of pressure. I had surgery recently, so that's kind of helping me out as far as this goes. And I'm just going to throw a little bit of this down. I do ask that you give me forgiveness for the wiggles and wobbles because I have this mounted on top of the table that I'm coloring on. And my dog is laying on the bed next to me eating a yummy. So that's a bit of the shaking, and I'm very, very, very sorry about that. His name is Marvel, and he is my sweet and handsome little boy. I have had him for 3 years now, and he saved me. That's a story that I'll tell you another time, but he is my little baby boy. He's a good boy, although he's spoiled rotten, but he's my baby. Okay, now I'm going to take my middle color here, now that I've laid that light shade down. This is, again, the C15, I think it is. Yeah, C15. So what I'm going to do, I think I want my shade to come out here and maybe just on a few of the tips. So I'm going to take this color and very lightly, again, I'm holding the pencil kind of far back. And if you have trouble with your grip starts getting closer and closer, I recommend buying like one of those pencil holders that you used to use in school to help you, and then put it up here, and then you know not to hold any closer. Oh, I thought I had one. I was going to show you what I meant, but I don't have any handy right now. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use this as my midline. So that's about as far as I'm going to pull this color to. And what I'm doing is this is blending the lighter color in as well. So I'm just kind of pulling this all up. And I am so sorry about the shaking. I hope it doesn't make you too sick. I'll try to find a better way to do these videos if you guys like this. Marvel, quit wiggling about, baby. Okay, so I have lightly gone through to about the point that I want. And when I'm doing this, I'm doing it in small little circular motions, but I'm doing it quick, so it's kind of like that. Because I'm just laying down this color real quick. Okay, now I'm going to go in with my darkest color. This is the C16. And I'm going to start here, but I'm not going to go that far out. I'm going to only go to about here on these. So I'm just going to come here and bring it out. And what this does is it's also blending in. And this I'm doing back and forth in those circular motions. But this is blending in the light color and the mid color along with this dark color. And like I said, I'm just going back and forth and kind of pulling those different colors out from the center in order to do a blend. I am so sorry about that wiggle. Marvel has just moved on the bed. And unfortunately, he's got to be wherever Mama is. So if I sit at the table, he will just sit and constantly whine at me because I'm not paying him any attention. Here, he's next to me, so it's not quite as bad. Okay, so I've got a pretty good coverage of this darker color here. Now I'm going to go back to my very, very lightest color. This is, again, the C033. So what I'm going to do, again, I'm starting right from this very center here. And I'm just doing the little circles, and I'm just kind of moving it back and forth. And this is light pressure. Well, I'd say this is, if I were to label these on pressure, this would be like the lightest would be 1. This one would be maybe a 2. The dark one was 3. And now I'm probably at about a 4. I'm just going to bring this all the way out. And you'll see that it's starting to pull some of these. So here I'm doing a little bit of back and forth, but then I'll do some colors as well. And just back and forth. Man, that makes me sound like Bob Ross, doesn't it? Back and forth. It's your own happy little world. So I'm just going to lay extra color down on all of these others. And I hate to say this, but this is going to be a very short video due to my hand after surgery. I don't have this strength up that I would normally have to do longer coloring videos. I find that I'm hurting through here quite a bit and up into my thumb, so I don't have a lot of that strength that I need to, and believe it or not, you do use strength to do this, to be able to grip this pencil for this long. But you can see that this is beautifully bringing this out and blending it all beautifully together. So I'm just going to keep on keeping on. It wasn't that Joe Dirt that said that. I think it might have been. I know it's probably a phrase from somewhere else, but I think I know it from that movie, Mr. Joe Dirt. I love David Spade. I was talking about him at work with one of the guys that I work with the other day, and we were talking about movies that we liked him in, and Joe Dirt is one of my favorites with him. And then The Emperor's New Groove, I just think he played that role so well for being a voice actor on that. And Dickie Roberts, former child star, I just think that one is hilarious. And then we can't discount his TV shows that he's been on, my favorite being Rules of Engagement. And I'm sorry about that shaking. I can see that in the corner of my eye. I don't know whether it's because I just moved my hand too quickly. But I'm just kind of pulling all this back, you know, going between circular motions and doing some back and forth here. Always going back to the center to pull everything back out again. And then what I'm going to do, if my hand will let me, my thumb is aching pretty bad right now. And this pressure right here, this is probably about a 3, so about the same pressure that I was using on the darkest color. What I'm going to do here next is I'm going to go into the shading areas, like in between the petals, to get some. But I'm not going to do all 3 because it's such a small area that I'm doing. So I'm just going to go in with the darkest one and just throw a little bit of shade in here. Just right along this line. Oh, you can't even see what I'm doing. My gosh, I'm sorry. Right in along this line. A little bit of shading in here. And it's all going to be right along the lines. And I do tend to change my pencil tip around because that kind of keeps it sharp for me. Because I'm constantly rotating it. So where it gets dull, I just move it around and then it'll... And then I'm just going to do this right on these lines. And it doesn't have to be perfect, but I'm using a light pressure here, maybe a 2. And I'm not going all the way up, just where I feel like I want a little bit of extra shading. And let's see here. I'm sorry if you're not seeing me that well. I'll have to figure this all out. I thought I had you in frame, but with this damn bouncy mount that I didn't realize was going to bounce this much, otherwise I wouldn't have bought it. I just liked it because it had this extra long arm. Well, extra long arm, I guess, equals extra bounce. Kind of like my belly when it jiggles. We do a little wiggle wiggle. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I kind of crack myself up sometimes. It's not always appropriate. Okay, so now I'm going to go in with my lightest color and just blend those lines in. And that's just going to be circles on either side of the line because that will bring the shading in on both of those lines that I have touching and bring it up a little bit. And now, since this is the tip up here and I want this to be light, I'm not really doing it there. I'm doing it on this side of it. This one I'll do both sides. So Marvel, stop, little boy. I'm so sorry, guys. I'll try to figure something out next time. Little boy, you better lay down still. He's always been little boy to me. Little boy, and then a handsome puppy. You know, he greets me with a yummy in his mouth or a toy or something. One of the few that survive is, he's a serial killer. He is a toy serial killer. They don't last very long with him. He chews them until they're gone. But he always greets me with something, and so we've started, ever since he was a puppy, he does his little nudges his nose to me, and that's an Eskimo kiss for mommy when he's got something in his mouth. Okay, so I am at about the end of my extent that I can do with my hand. So I am about to end this video here. I hope to be able to upload more. I will let you know my schedule is kind of hectic for a single person. So it's not going to be a regular filming schedule as of yet. I'll try to get a little bit more on a regular basis and try to build my setup a little bit better. And I do apologize for the ums. I guess I do say that quite a bit. But there you go. That's my little bit of shading for this little blue flower. Thank you, and I'll see you again next time, my little fay friends.